We are all the same. There is no one that's better than anybody else. And because of that, there is nothing that anybody can do that would please the Lord more than anybody else. Doesn't that sound good? It sounds good, but my friends, it just ain't Bible. Now, I'm not talking about whether or not we are sinners condemned under the same penalty of sin to death and hell. But I am talking about that once we are saved and once we are a child of God, there is something that we should do to be different than the world, and that we should do, that we can do, that pleases the Lord more than others. Here are just a few scriptures I've selected to share with you on this. First, it pleased the Lord to bless Israel. In Numbers 24:1 it says, Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel. It pleased the Lord to pray for his children, even if they sin. In 1 Samuel 12:22 through 24, it hath pleased the Lord to make you his people. God forbid that I should sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you. It pleases the Lord to bless our house and our generations to come. 2 Samuel 7:29, therefore now let it please thee, O Lord, to bless the house of thy servant. It pleased the Lord to receive sacrifice from those whose hearts are his. Now, sacrifices do not save or please God unless our hearts are right with him. Psalm 51:16 through 19, for thou desirest not sacrifice, else I would give it. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart, O God, thou wilt not despise. Then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness. It pleased the Lord to lift our voices in praise to him. Psalm 69:30 through 31, I will praise the name of God with a song, and will magnify him with thanksgiving. This also shall please the Lord. It pleases the Lord if we magnify the law, his word. Isaiah 42:21, the Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. It pleases the Lord to offer salvation to the world. He did that through his Son, Jesus Christ, in Isaiah 53:10, yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. It pleased the Lord to do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with thy God. Micah 6:6 through 8. Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, or with 10,000s of rivers of oil? He has showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. It pleases the Lord for us to be obedient to his Son. The disciples on the Mount of Transfiguration in Matthew 17:5, he said this, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. It pleases the Lord when we don't live in the flesh. In Romans 8:8, so then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. It pleases the Lord when we preach to the saving of the lost. 1 Corinthians 1:21, it pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. It pleases the Lord when we serve according to our calling and not jealous of others' callings. In 1 Corinthians 12:17 through 19, if the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? But now hath God set the members, every one of them, in the body as it hath pleased him. It pleased the Lord for children to obey their parents. Colossians chapter 3 verse 20, children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. It pleases the Lord when we speak boldly of the gospel, not fearing what man can do unto us. 1 Thessalonians 2:4, but as we were allowed of God to be put in trust with the gospel, even so we speak not as pleasing men, but God. It pleased the Lord for us to walk according to the preaching of the Scriptures. 1 Thessalonians 4:1, that as ye have received of us, how ye ought to walk and to please God. It pleased the Lord for us to do good and share with others. Hebrews 13:16, but to do good and to communicate, forget not. For with such sacrifices God is well pleased. It pleased the Lord for us to keep his commandments. That seems pretty obvious, but 1 John 3:22, and whatsoever we ask, we receive of him, because we keep His commandments and do those things that are pleasing in His sight. It pleases the Lord for us to have faith. Hebrews 11:6. But without faith, it is impossible to please Him. It pleases the Lord for us to walk in His ways. When a man's ways please the Lord, He maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him, in Proverbs 16:7. It pleased the Lord for us to have a testimony that we please the Lord. Listen to this about Enoch. In Hebrews chapter 11, verse 5, by faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found because God translated him. For before his translation he had this testimony, that he pleased God. Do you think maybe it's just possible that children of God, Christians, born again, believers of God, that it is possible for them to please God? Yea, I say not only possible, but necessary. Oh, that we might live our lives, that it might be said that we have this testimony, that He pleased God. Remember, Hebrews 11 tells us without faith, it is impossible to please God.